And welcome back to part five. Five. I'm pre-recording this on Sunday. Part five of What If Naruto Joined Orochimaru. You notice I'm in a slightly different angle. Obviously, I'm still house sitting at the moment. And the reason I'm at a different angle is because I got a pumpkin in my lap, and he loves to snuggle. Pumpkin is a snuggler. But anyway, last time on the Naruto What If, we came to the aftermath of the Sasori Deidara situation, and with the revelation that, Orochimaru certainly has a Sharingan at this point. Naruto was tasked to go, just meet up with Jugo and Karin. By the way, someone in the comments in the last video says, like, it's Jugo, not, you keep saying Jungo, it's Jugo. It's like, you clearly did not watch all the way through where I fully acknowledged that. You just probably watched to the point where I started saying the name incorrectly and just needed to comment. Met up with Karin. It's like, ooh, is he gonna pair Naruto with Karin? Maybe. I mean, I certainly established there was a relationship there. And they're probably distantly related enough that it wouldn't be too gross. I mean, the Hyugas are all kind of related. Nuchiya and all those clans are kind of related with bloodline traits, so it's kind of gross no matter what you think of it. But it ended with Naruto in Sage Transformation mode, mind you, realizing Itachi was there, and Itachi coming out and saying, we need to talk, Naruto. And that's where we left off. So we leave off. And it's like, and Naruto's just looking at him. What do you want, Itachi? Are you here to try to take the Nine Tails? You and Akatsuki here for the Nine Tails once again? No, I am not here on behalf of the Akatsuki. I am here on behalf of myself. How have you been, Naruto? You seem to have grown quite strong under Orochimaru's tutelage. It's like, yeah, Orochimaru's did a lot more for me than the Leaf ever did. So does that mean you wish? So with all he's done for you, does that mean you will one day turn the Leaf, wage war against it for your own petty gripes, for your own childish vendettas? Which Naruto actually kind of like stops and looks at him and just goes, no. That's not it. To which Itachi's not surprised, but he's a little, well, no, he's not like shocked, like, what? But it's like, really? It's like, look, the Leaf abused me, they treated me like crap, they threw me to the wayside. People underestimated me. But I'm not a kid anymore. Even back then I knew it wasn't there were still some people who were good to me. The old man, rest his soul, was good to me, and I still valued Iruka. A couple of my classmates, and there's kids now that are born. Konohamaru was a cool guy. He liked me. Cool kid, and I'm sure he's grown up well. But so look, I never want to step foot in that village again. But I have no issue with them as long as they have no issue with me. And if they were to come after you, what would you do then? And Naruto hesitates a bit on that. Just we'll see we'll get across that bridge when it comes. Now, what is that why you're here? Just chit chat and talk about my loyalties? Tachi's eyes get a bit more serious now. No. Tell me, what has become of my brother, Naruto? It's like, your brother Sasuke? What about him? He's in the Leaf, isn't he? No, he abandoned the Leaf some time ago. Shortly around the same time you abandoned the Leaf. I was under the assumption that he was with Orochimaru training like you. I haven't seen Sasuke around the base at all. Now Suigetsu's getting a little nervous, like, because let's be clear, he was trapped in there. He and I think Kabuto and Orochimaru, as smart and as careful as they are, they would have probably said it in front of him that, or at least let it be known in front of him, because they never considered him a huge threat. That yeah, he successfully took Sasuke's body, and so he gets like and Suigetsu's just like, he's just like, oh boy, and Karin and Jugo are honestly, I can't remember in the last video if I let Jungo come out. Yeah, no, Naruto's there. You can keep him under control. So yeah, let's just say he's there. But now Karin and Jungo are looking at Suigetsu like, what do you know, Suigetsu? And Naruto just looks at him, Suigetsu, and tell me, Suigetsu, is Sasuke still at the base? Is he one of Orochimaru's projects? Kind of, more like a completed project. And Naruto doesn't quite get it at first, but Itachi gets the meaning, and the look on Itachi's face is both like, no, and like there's rage, sorrow, regret and everything in between there, like that look. And it's but Naruto doesn't quite key onto it. As smart as Naruto is, it's not one of those things where he immediately knows what Sugetsu's talking about. Just like, what are you talking about, Sugetsu? They probably just weren't thinking about it when they said it when talking about it. They probably didn't think I would ever say it, or probably didn't even think I was listening. Around the same time you came back, or you came to stay at Orochimaru, they brought Sasuke to Orochimaru, and he made Sasuke his own body around the same time took you in. Now Naruto's like, you what? It's like, and Itachi's like, so Orochimaru finally gained the Sharingan after all, and he took my brother's body to do it. And now there's just rage coming off him. And Naruto doesn't know how to feel. While he grew to dislike the way kind of Sasuke viewed him, although he as he got older, he was more wise into the fact that yeah, Sasuke did consider him a friend. Ultimately, it just it was everything else compiled on there, which just led him to really think that Sasuke did, and they just hated Naruto in some capacity. But as he got older, he appreciated the fact that it was more that Sasuke just saw him as a rival, and by that extent, a friend. He was probably the closest friend Naruto really had, outside of maybe Iruka and Konohamaru. At least from the context in which Naruto's viewing it. So, he's just thinking on it, and Itachi's is like, then this he's become too dangerous to live. It was my mistake for letting him live prior. I will not make this mistake again. So, and then Naruto, tell me, where's Orochimaru hiding? If you will not give him up willingly, I will take the information by. And as he's about to basically interrogate Naruto, all of a sudden the turquoise colors of the Sage Chakra starts to meld with red, turning into this. Now, I tried looking up what happens when you mix red with turquoise, of like the turquoise nature of that chakra. I couldn't find anything a color that really meets that. But I figured mixing the red, we'll just kind of make it more like an orangish green. And Itachi's seeing it as the red's kind of seeping in there, and he's actually like he's stunned by level markers. Naruto's power already is at a point where Itachi would have difficulty with him. And now he's adding the Fox's chakra, which is something he probably doesn't normally do. And it's like, he's dead. What? What are you talking about? Orochimaru's dead. Wait, are you serious, Naruto? You're gonna take on Orochimaru? I had no clue. Orochimaru was giving me everything I could have asked for. More of a purpose than a leaf ever did. Actually saw my potential, helped cultivate it. But I was never a fool to know the kind of man he was. The man may act jovial, cordial, and polite when I'm around, but I know the things he does, and I've overlooked a lot. And I know he's made considerations, but deep down I knew those were all lies. He would do whatever he could to further his own purpose and further his own research. I knew one day it would come down to me and him. I guess that day's just come now. I was like, but you said you didn't like that. I know. You said you wouldn't bother Leaf. I never said I'm going back to the Leaf. But as I grew, I may have disliked Sasuke back in the day, and he's looking now at Itachi. But as I got older and realized what really our relationship was about, I realized he was probably the closest friend I actually had in the Leaf. And the fact that bastard has lied to me all this entire time. Lied to me this entire time about it. This ends now. It's like, so you're turning on Orochimaru, but what happens after that, Naruto? You'll have to take on the whole of Akatsuki on your own. Well, I'll deal with that when that happens, Itachi. For now, there goes Pumpkin. That gives me a chance to adjust a little bit. I was okay, but I was out of angle. I'm like, it could be a little more comfortable. There we go. And then Itachi's like, and what happens after that? And with that. And then I'll just do my own thing. Maybe start my own village. Who knows? That's all dependent on you, Itachi. You're going to be coming after me after the fact. And Itachi's looking at us like, I sense no lies with you. No lies coming from you, Naruto. So if you're being honest, I'll be honest. As Sasuke is no longer around to complete what I had hoped he would, I'll impart my belief stone to you now. It's like, what are you talking about? In Itachi's the Uchiha massacre, I'm trying to think how long ago that was now. In the time frame of the series, because this would be Shippuden. Sasuke was like it's mid single digits. It's about 10 years now, roughly, for the Uchiha massacre. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So the Uchiha massacre 10 years ago. It wasn't for what you thought. Why do you think I did it? It's like, Sasuke told me it was to test your power, just to grow stronger, like the bastard you are. That No, that was far from the case. And it's like, what are you talking about? And again, he explains the Uchiha massacre to him. I'm not going to go into a whole dialogue about that. A, I'd probably flub it up, and B, I'd like to move along with the story a bit here. It's like, what the Uchiha were going to go against the village? It's like, that's correct. I loved my home. I loved Sasuke. I couldn't let it happen. My hope is that I would be the one thing to give him purpose after that. He was just a boy and my brother. But unfortunately, that purpose is no longer viable. Naruto, I know this asks for much of you, and you can decline if you so choose. But I'd like to give that purpose to you. I was like, what do you mean? I'll explain this after we take down Orochimaru. Of course, Naruto, and he was like, my brother is dead because of Orochimaru. You did not really think you let you do this alone. And Naruto was like, Naruto is a little hesitant, but he can tell that. So, because the Fox's chakra, I mean, it's not the standard Fox cloak, which lets him sense negative emotions. Standard Fox cloak, the advanced Fox cloak after being the Fox. It's more that Naruto's just good at reading. Plus, between Sage Mode and the Fox's chakra, he is getting a good gauge of Itachi's emotional state and ability to lie. And it's like, nah, you don't seem to be lying. And he just takes out his hand. It's like, very well. And then they shake, and I was like, you try anything before these done, and you and me are and it deals off. It's like, understood. So Getsu Jugo Karin. You guys don't have to Tayuya. So I forgot Tayuya's there. It's like, you guys don't have to do this. This is personal. This is only between me, Tachi, and Orochimaru. You don't have to be a part of this. You can wait at the base if you want, and we'll return afterwards. And then are you kidding, man? And Suigetsu's a little like, oh, I mean, it says a bit much, but at the same time, you kidding, man? I wouldn't miss a fight like this for the world. Well, and Tayu's like, look, I've been working for Orochimaru mostly out of fear. He gave me power, sure, but let's not. I've hated that bastard in Kabuto forever. I'm totally down with this, and there's no way you're effing talking me out of it. And and Jugo's like, you're one of the only people that ever give me peace. You're my friend, Naruto. Naruto, I'll follow you to the end. And Karin just is like, well, look, Karin, I know you're not much of a fighter, but you can just smacks. I was like, bastard, you think you're going anywhere without me this time? You are sorely mistaken. And she just, again, pulls him in, because I can see Karin being a little Sakura-like to someone she's actually legitimately involved in and has actually had a relationship with to some degree. Because let's be clear, she fangirled and was possibly going to rape Sasuke, but she never actually had a legitimate relationship with him. And had legitimate feelings. It was all infatuation, like lust and all that. With Naruto, sure, she's got that infatuation and lust, but she's actually had some sort of a relationship with him in the past. Sure, she actually cares about him more than beyond the physical. She cares about him on the emotional level. So I imagine it'd be like, Karin's like, do you think you're going anywhere without me this time? You're starting to mistake him. Besides, no, I'm the only censor here. You're going to need my ass. It's like, well, and then Naruto's like, jokes like, well, I do need your ass, Karin. He's like, you bastard. You complete this, you'll be getting a lot more than that. It's like, well then, it's like, well, you do this right, and it's like, oh, well then, that's just I'm just thinking of the Kingsman line. It's like, we can do it in the asshole. I'll be right back. But sidetrack real quick, because I love the Kingsman movie. I don't like the second one as much as the first one, but I like it a lot more than others do. But I love that. I love the Kingsman movies, and when I showed that to my parents, they laughed their asses off at that. They were just floored by that line. Anyway, I digress. Getting a little risque in the what ifs right now. I'll occasionally throw some risque jokes and humor in there or references in there, but generally I do try to keep it as clean as possible. I mean, I'll throw some cuss language, but I won't be so insinuative about things like that most of the time. But anyway, so Tachi basically, is disguised as is being disguised as Karin, who's actually hiding out because again, she's the only one who's really not up until the adamantine change. I grant you, but she doesn't have those at this time. So she's very much the person who is the support, the support medic because she's got the ability to heal through sucking on her chakra, as well as other things. Anyway, there's an Naruto. But they go back to the base and say, Naruto. And Naruto for years knew how to put a mask on. So it's not like he doesn't know how to do that. And so him, Tayuya, so he gets to show up. And, Jugo's there too. It's like, oh, Naruto, you're back. So, and why? And he looks like, why is Jugo here? Well, Jugo needed a fresh start, a bit of a new lease on life, a new way to control himself. Plus, I mean, it's been a while since any direct research has been done with Jugo, and you sent me there to control him, and it looks like I can control him now. So it's really more, it's really definitely something to really look into, Kabuto. Plus, I got some clones at the base. It'll be fine. Karin needs some air, isn't that right, Karin? And say, yeah, definitely need to, Naruto. Plus, I mean, then again, I wouldn't mind getting some air with you too. And Naruto's like, ease up under your person. Say, I need to make it look convincing, Naruto. It's like, well, I'm glad to see you two are getting reacquainted. Though I'm sure Lord Orochimaru will be okay with it. You still should have contacted us through a summoning beforehand. Either way, Jugo, why is that right? Naruto, why Tayuya, Karin, Jugo, not Suigetsu, Tayuya, why don't you give Karin some rest in like the break room or something like that. Although Kabuto's a little wary, he's like, this does seem like, because Naruto is so unpredictable as a character and they've grown used to that, it's one of those things where he probably wouldn't see it as anything more than, it's like, okay, Naruto did something random again, but this is within Naruto's characters, all right. And so Naruto and Jugo go and go in, and he's in Naruto's camp, and Kabuto's drawing some blood, right? He's like, it does seem like some minor changes have occurred. Yeah, indeed. And Naruto's just kind of like looking on. Meanwhile, Karin is, because they do probably have like a little earpiece or something like that. Karin's just like, it's like, yeah, Orochimaru's in the base down, that over there in the base, in the labs. Like, Suigetsu, Toyo, you're back. And Karin, I haven't seen you in ages. I see Naruto has brought you back for a visit. It's like, yes, he has. Although I don't think though there is some things I'd like to discuss with you, Orochimaru. I was like, oh, and Orochimaru immediately hears like, there was no Sama behind that. What exactly is on your mind, Karin? I'd like to know why you didn't tell Naruto about Sasuke. To which Orochimaru was a little just, and how would you know about Sasuke? Unless, of course, you had eyes and ears all over the place. Itachi. And then, sure enough, shurikens fly out. Itachi is revealed. And Orochimaru's just, dodging. So you finally found me, is it? So does that mean what I think it means? That Naruto has finally betrayed me after all these years? Yeah, indeed, indeed he has. Though me and him were not aware of it. You can actually thank a little Suigetsu here for that. Suigetsu's not like, why you gotta actually single me out for this? Suigetsu, you had to spoil the surprise. It's like, well, maybe. And then he's like, well, I'm already called out, and Itachi's here to fight him. So I was like, fuck it. It's like, well, you maybe shouldn't have said those things in front of me, like thinking I was a nobody, you snake bastard. It's like, well then, I guess I'll have to reprimand you for this when it's all said and done. And he just pulls out the sword, and now, the shuriken comes out, the kunai comes out, and him and Tachi class. Tachi's, immediately goes Mangekyo, and it's like Tsukiyome, and then just, And to be fair, Orochimaru, like Sasuke, isn't immune to the Tsukiyome. He has to fight through that shit. but it's like, and then finally just, I've mastered the Sharingan. Over 3 years, you think I wouldn't have mastered the gift your brother was so keen to give me, Itachi? Meanwhile, they're like, something's going on. There's something's happening over Orochimaru. Naruto, let's go. And Naruto's like, right. And then just, let's go. What? Naruto. And then Naruto's got a kunai, kunai, but it's got wind fused with it as well. Just, Naruto. It's like, Naruto. So, this was a plan all along. Like, yeah, that's right. He told me what you did to Sasuke. He told me everything. I've been ignoring this for years because I valued what you guys gave me, but this is over, Kabuto. Well, then, if that's the way it is, then there's no use of being kind to you anymore. And then he just kind of, using shock scuffles, forces the blade back, is healing up. Jugo comes like, yeah, you better move, Kabuto! It's like, ugh. Tries to cut Jugo, but Jugo's got a healing factor involved with that ability too, so he's able to get kind of just avoid that. Naruto's already in Sage transformation because he's just like, yeah, no, and he's just he uses lightning chakra. I'm trying to remember exactly if I gave him lightning because I know I gave him another chakra limit. I'm pretty certain I went with lightning, wind, and water. Let's just say lightning, wind, and water. And let's say at this point he's got all of those. So he immediately just uses, water, just great torrents. Like, please, is that the best you did? Just shocks him. Damn it on. Then Naruto immediately comes in with a fox chakra, just extending his arm. Just, I can't heal from this. And it's like, you're not getting, you think I don't know all your tricks, Kabuto? I've been here this entire time. I know just about everything you can throw at me. And I know you can't, I know from our little training practices, you can't heal from the fox's chakra. Jugo, you're in the mood to kill something. Oh, yeah. I might have said Jungo. I meant Jugo. Jugo, you're in the mood to kill something. Yeah, no. And then Jugo's like, just crushes Kabuto's skull. Man, let's go get Orochimaru. Oh, sweet. And so they're going off. And Itachi and Orochimaru are squaring off. And because now the Orochimaru has the Sharingan, it's a much more even playing field. Originally, Orochimaru couldn't take on Itachi for crap. With the Sharingan, it evens the playing field. Now, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have the Mangekyo Sharingan. Someone's like, well, Orochimaru, Orochimaru was the trauma. It affected him harshly. He never got over it. Yeah, but that's, if he had the Sharingan back then, that would have mattered. Here, does not matter as much. So, Tachi is like, we have to get him outside. I can use Amaterasu, but I can't use it in here. And his eyes are just starting to go. And it's like, damn it. We need to, it's a shame, Tachi, but do not worry. Do not worry. Despite your body's sickly, I couldn't take your body even if I wanted to. Your disease is progressing far too quickly for it to be a worthwhile vessel. But I'll make sure to take your eyes. And, excuse me. Besides, the time for me to pick a new body is almost here. Perhaps with the manga, perhaps after taking your eyes, I'll actually taking Naruto's body a shot. As he quickly does sense something and realize that it's like a tornado fist explosion, or Rasenado, as I'm just affectionately called. Basically, tornado fist combined with a Rasengan. All of a sudden, and he concentrates almost like Kamehameha style, just boom, it's like Naruto. It's like, you really think I'd let you just take my body that easy? Oh, after all I've done for you, Naruto. Yeah, I owe you a lot, but you're still a bastard. Perhaps I am, but that doesn't mean I'll just lay down and die. Of course, he realizes too. He's like, I need to get out of here. Yeah, you're not going anywhere, Fox. Snake. I activated the seals around this place. No one's getting in or out until those seals are reactivated. No one can. Basically, you're not able to use a substitution, like an escape juice, and none of that. No. You're here until someone's dead. So be it. And he just and he's about to, and Naruto recognizes the hand, says, Amaterasu him now, but we're inside. He's about to use Edo Tensei. It's like, oh, it's like, Amaterasu. Just as he's about to finish the hand side and do that. What is this? And he just tries to get out. It's like, what? This is Amaterasu. And then he's like, and so the chakra table, Orochimaru. I'm calling it the chakra table in this case. It's like, wind strengthens fire. Great breakthrough. And he's enhancing it obviously with Fox's chakra and Sage transformation. He basically has to do the shed skin technique real quick. And all of a sudden, he gets stabbed. And granted, it's a big room, but it's crumbling apart thanks to everything that's going on here. And Naruto, all of a sudden, he gets stabbed. Just, what is this? It's a Tosca blade. Now, to be fair, you might be thinking, well, he can't use the full Susanoo. True, but he can. We know they can use parts of Susanoo. So I would not be surprised if Itachi, if he was struggling or was focusing, could use the Tosca blade even without having a full Susanoo available. It's just a matter of concentrating all of it into a complete version of that limb. So I can see him using the Tosca blade if he had to. Although it's just, and he stabs Roger. You had it, Itachi. I know. And he just absorbs Orochimaru. And now Orochimaru is sealed away. He's not dead, and we know he lives on through the curse marks. But that said, he's for all intent and purposes gone. They dropped to the floor. Naruto had to put a lot in there. He's tired. I imagine he could have been in his curse mark state too, like this dragon fox. That's how I kind of look at it. Is like his curse mark thanks to the fox's influences. That because he's got the curse seal of Earth that Kimimaro had, it's got that dinosaur form, but it's got fox-like traits. So think of like a dinosaur fox, which would actually be kind of cool. So they reach over. It's like, Itachi. It's like, hey man, are you okay? It's like, and he's confident. Now he's not quite as bad as he was in the original. Like he hasn't had to use so much of his power that it's killing him or that he's dying. Whereas like, I don't have much time. Get me back. Get me outside. And they go out, and Karin says, "Are you guys okay?" It's like he's hurt. It's like here. You take that fox. Just bite on it and suck. It's like, well, Naruto's looking at it. It's like, not like that, you idiot. Just do it. It's like and he remembers Karin's healing, but like, she's right. Itachi does it. He recovers to a certain degree. It's like, I'm not injured. I'm not injured. I have an illness. I have maybe a few weeks left at max. I've been holding off medication. My goal was ultimately to have Sasuke take my life, but that's no longer possible. Naruto. When I'm gone, that's the last of the Sharingan, save for maybe your former sensei, Kakashi. But the Akatsuki are still will still be after you. If they get a hold of the fox, they will wreak untold havoc. They already have, Shikaku, they would have had Sambi, because they probably would have gotten the 4 tails at this point. 3 tails, we know they got the Nimbi. Yeah, they have all but the 8 and the 9 tails. You'll need everything you have at your disposal, Naruto. What are you talking about? I will meet my partner Kasame. I will keep the ruse up as long as I can. But when the time comes, and he basically places this. He has a seal ready. It's like, take this. Take this. When the time comes, you'll know. Now you can kind of tell where I might be going with this, but I'll keep it as such. Normally, I kind of try to keep it around 25 minutes, but occasionally when I really want to get through a big part of the story, I'm going to go a bit longer. We're almost at the 30-minute mark now. I'm probably going to cut off around 31 minutes. Until then, we'll part ways for now. But keep in mind, the Akatsuki are still at large. I'll be gone. Kasame is no one to trifle with. And then there's still our leader Sama Pain, Pain, there's still a few more that you need to worry about, particularly as he thinks to both Obito, Madara, and Pain, particularly leader Sama, and a being who possesses his power. You will not be able to beat, no matter with the power you have now. And so until then, I thank you, Naruto. And Naruto's just like, so that's it? And it's like, for now. And then he just disappears and crows once again. And he's like, well, man, well, what are we going to do now? And Naruto's like, honestly, I don't know. Orochimaru, Kabuto, the base is burning down on Amaterasu. It's like, the whole base is gone. I mean, what do we think we should do? Well, how about you, you could maybe you could maybe get them to your senses and come back reasonably as they just turn to a tree. Now, the individual maybe did see Itachi. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't right now. But standing in the tree, because of the giant, black flame cloud being, shown from the horizon, and, being the guy who's not always in the village, there's an old friend there still looking at Naruto saying, like, how you been, Naruto? The Jiraiya's here, and oh, it's gonna get awkward. So Jiraiya managed to find him after, hearing what was going on at the base and all that. Because again, maybe he was nearby, but he's got the informants and he's got the toads. I'm sure some of the toads hang around in the real world, keep out, scouting for him. That's why a spy network is really important. Again, the spy network for Jiraiya apparently is more fanon than canon, but most people treat it as something that Jiraiya actually does, that it's just kind of become accepted canon. And really, when you think about it, that would actually make sense for Jiraiya. But anyway, I digress. So Orochimaru and Kabuto are gone, but Jiraiya is here, and he'd like to have some words with Naruto. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review of it at some point. I just would win, star, super magic, what if, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let us know we'll do a review of that at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified, and I'll see you folks later. I do have the who would win. I'm probably going to pre-record that. This is still Sunday, by the way. Pre-record that later today. I got to, again, go through some things. I got to go through all the suggestions to be sure I got everyone who gave me the suggestions for this week for the who would wins. Because I always want to be fair to everyone who gives them that. I don't want to try to miss someone if I can. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you folks later.